welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys how I make Blake's homemade baby food. I don't buy the food out of the store, the Gerber food, Beech Nut, or I forgot the other brand, but I don't buy those. I make her food myself. Not that anything's wrong with them, and kudos to moms who want to go that route, but for me, I choose to make my daughter's food. Just because in my mind, I just want to make sure that I know exactly what's going into her food. I'm not like a health nut or anything, but I like to make sure that I know what's going into Blake's food and, you know, what's not. So I'll show you guys how I make her food. Today, I'm going to give her sweet potatoes, and I'll also show you guys how, I guess, the baby bullet system works. Like maybe one vegetable or one fruit, it can last maybe about a week or longer, depending on how much you make. So today I'll be making sweet potatoes, and her pediatrician said that it was okay for her to start on solids she was about 4 months old. She's almost 6 months. She'll be 6 months, I can't believe that, in like 3 weeks. So her pediatrician told us that it was okay to start her on solids at 4 months. So we've started her. She's had sweet potatoes already, and she really likes them. She's had carrots, peaches, one more I can't remember. It was squash. And most of all, I think personally that she liked the sweet potatoes best, so I'll show you guys how I make it today. So stay tuned. So while her sweet potatoes are boiling, I want to show you guys all of the accessories that are included with the baby bullet system. So this is the actual blender right here. This part is the motor. You will plug it in. It doesn't run off batteries. It runs off, you know, the power cord. And this part comes out. This is actually called the batch bowl. This is for if you want to make large amounts of food. You will make it in this particular bowl. This comes off. That's the actual blade. It's called the baby blend blade, and you would basically use that blade for the majority of your food items that you're making for the baby. And this is the other blade that comes with it. This is the milling blade, and you would use this blade if you wanted to make rice cereal or another kind of grain at home, maybe oatmeal or, you know, whatever, any kind of grain like that. You will use the milling blade. The system also comes with a spatula to dig your food out of the bowls. And like I said before, this is the batch bowl for large amounts of food. But if you wanted to make food for just, I guess, that night or the next day, you would use, this is called the short cup. You would just use this little cup, and it will make just enough for however many days you would need it, or however much you wanted to use. I guess a lot smaller amount than what you would make in a batch bowl. You would use that. So these little cups are the storage cups. I typically put her food that I'm going to feed her over the next 3 to 5 days in these. To remind yourself of when or the date that you actually made the food. Here's the, I guess, numbers. There's like a little date dial. And here, it's hard to see right on this camera, but there it is. Like you can kind of see the 13 in there. So if you made it on, I don't know, June 13th, you would turn the dial to 13. And, these are called the batch tray. And you can, this is perfect for making over 12 ounces of food. If you have like an overflow of food, you can put them in this batch tray and you can actually freeze this. And it's good for up to 30 days if you freeze it. And whenever you're ready to feed the baby the food, you would just take this out of the freezer and thaw it out in the refrigerator and serve it. Well, not just straight serve it cold, unless, depending on the food, I guess. But, you know, take it out of this tray and warm it or serve it, whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's basically the baby bullet system. And if these storage cups aren't enough, you can actually buy more of those. Alright, so these are pretty much done. So you just basically take it off the stove and put it on the side to let it cool. You don't want to put anything extremely hot in the baby blender. So while that cools, you can start getting the rest of your things ready. Alright guys, so that's it. I have about a week's worth of food for Blake. So that's how you use the baby bullet. I hope everything was informative for those moms who would like to try it out, or even those who are just curious as to how the process works on making homemade baby food. I hope I was able to help in some form or fashion. So that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Bye.